Hi, everybody. We'll get going in just 1 second. Just want to, we had a little snafu with the link. So let's get going here. Oops. If you can hear me and see me, please put a heart in the chat. You can put where you're coming in from. That would be fantastic. We can all get to know each other. I'm Tiffany, and we'll just wait 1 second, and then we'll get going here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started so that I can keep everyone on time. I'm Tiffany Yelverton. I want to start by honoring each of you for being here today, whether you're a survivor or a supporter or someone who's simply curious about this conversation, whether you're a partner or a provider. We're here to talk about something that is often ignored in the cancer treatment process, especially when treatment ends, and that is your pleasure, your confidence, and your radiant sense of self. So you've survived the unimaginable, but no one told you that survival might come with silent shame, confusion around your body and intimacy. And that's going to end today because we're going to talk about some things that you can do to change the way that you feel about your body, yourself, and trusting and your intimacy. Stick around to the end, save your questions. I'll answer them all at the end. And I'll be sharing with you how you can participate in our program that brings us to your network, and support your goals so that you are really, if you have a network of other survivors, people that should know this information, we want to get it out to them. I want to thank our sponsor, Sex Butter, for providing funds so that we can give this webinar for free today. And I really appreciate them. It's one of my favorite products. I talk about it a lot. It is a vaginal moisturizer and lubrication product that's all organic. It has essential oils to help your body naturally produce more moisture, and it actually helps to heal the cellular walls so that you don't get those micro tears and the pain that comes from any insertion or even just everyday activities when you have vaginal dryness, usually from hormone blockers. So today we're going to teach you some things. I like to say you're going to fall in love with yourself. We're going to talk about some body changes, confidence, intimacy, sexuality, sensuality, and I'm going to share with you some stories of my past clients and people that I've worked with. I'm passionate about self-love and insane sexual confidence. And I believe that when women step into their sexual power, they really light up and change the way that they show up in the world. And I believe that everybody deserves pleasure. And I, the owner of Entice Me and Maison Joie de Vivre, which is the parent company for Sexy Survivors, which is our signature program. And I've been in business for about 15 years. And when I first started networking, I was sharing my vision of the closing the pleasure gaps, closing the amount of, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the difference in how much women orgasm compared to men. And I met Amy, and Amy was a stage 4 survivor, long-term survivor. We became very good friends over the years that she was still living, and she ran a lot of survivorship groups. And she told me that the way that I spoke about sex and intimacy was frank and candid and natural, and it was something that survivors are really, really interested in and needing. She told me that after the concerns about monetary strifes with paying for treatment and everything, that sex was what was most important, and returning to a normal sex life after treatment was most important to the survivors. And so, from she also explained to me how chemotherapy puts women into a medically, chemically induced menopause, and that they're going through all these same things, but no one really talks about it. And the doctors don't have any answers. And so, from that moment, that was about 12 years ago, maybe even more now, that I started coaching individuals and couples on intimacy and self love and regaining and revitalizing their relationships. And I kept hearing the same thing. Things like, I'm grateful to be alive, but I feel broken. I don't recognize my body. I don't feel sexy. I don't know how to talk to my partner. Um, I don't know what I want. I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to get back to who I was, who I used to be. And that just doesn't have to be the case. We can get you there. So I just want you to know that all these things that I've heard are things that you're probably thinking. And this was from a survivor a few weeks ago. I was on a call, with a training call with some other providers, and she said, I beat cancer, but now my marriage is failing. I didn't fight for my life just to lose the love of my life. And then, of course, being frustrated with low estrogen and all the side effects. The mind says yes, and the body says no, with the aches and pains and mobility, sometimes issues, and dryness and lack of libido, lack of arousal. All those things are definitely part of what we deal with and what we hear all the time. So let's talk about what happens after treatment. Um, you definitely, a lot of times, don't trust your body. You are in pain. You have libido changes, vaginal dryness and pain, that pain everywhere, changes in your identity and confidence, feeling like you're a burden or you're broken. You might be hiding in your clothes and avoiding mirrors. And worst of all, you're being told that you should just be happy to be alive. And so there's that shame and guilt around being there, when maybe I heard this from another survivor that, she feels like she should be grateful that she's alive, but she's so depressed because she isn't who she used to be. She's lost her light. And that because she had stage 1, she feels guilty that it wasn't as bad as someone else's, but she still had all of the pain and trauma of having a lumpectomy, going through radiation, all of those things that you've gone to. So just pop into the chat if you're here with us live or you're watching the replay. I did go back and comment and everything. So pop into the chat what resonated with you most so far. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I've developed the pleasure pathway framework that's through the years of work with survivors. And it's a healing framework that really supports survivors through reconnection to your body, to your breath, to your sensations. You know, we touch our bodies all day, but we forget to feel. And so we're reconnecting with yourself. Reframing and letting go of that shame and the shifting those toxic narratives, clearing out those thoughts in your head that you can't get there, you aren't going to be able to have an orgasm again, that your body hurts, that it doesn't work anymore the way that it's supposed to. And then reigniting your sensuality, your joy, and your confidence. And pleasure isn't about performance, it's about life force energy. Pleasure is life force energy. If you really think about it, all of us came from someone having sex, and hopefully it was pleasurable. It's reclaiming your voice and your confidence and your spark. It's using all of your senses to evoke sensuality and seduction, that mind, body, and vulva. You might hear it called the biopsychosocial framework or teachings, but putting it all together, call it the mind, body, vulva. And I really think of it as the emotional, the biological, and the physical pieces to the puzzle. Just the other day, I was reading a article from Psychology of Today, which supported what I've always taught for years, that masturbation is the best kept secret for menopause relief. And that goes along with whether it's a chemical menopause or your natural cycle, you know, really self-pleasure helps to heal the body. And so, like I said a minute ago, you know, we touch ourselves all the time, but we forget to feel. So I want you to just take a second and to close your eyes and just put your fingers on your forehead. And you're just going to focus on where your fingertips are touching your face. Just really gentle. And you just kind of stroke your face. Just, if your mind starts to wander, focus back on those fingertips touching your face. And really think about those senses when you're doing this. What does it feel like? What smells are around in the air right now? What temperature is your skin? What textures do you feel? Are you getting, like, I have quite a bit of little peach fuzz on my face. I have some breakouts right now. I can feel the lines of my face. And it's just very soothing. And when we touch ourselves, it brings oxytocin into our body, into our system. It activates the oxytocin, which is the cuddle chemical that helps to make you feel better. It connects you to yourself when you're touching yourself. And this oxytocin gets activated when we touch. It's often called the cuddle chemical, and it's gives you joy. It makes everything better. It's kind of like life's lubricant. It just kind of makes everything better. You're activating different neurochemicals and endorphins when you're touching yourself as well. But when was the last time you did something like that? it was probably a while. Um, so I have a couple other activities that I would like you to do. The next time that you're in the shower, I want you to kind of do the same thing. I want you to just slow down, and whether you're in the bath or the shower, and just take in all of your senses. What does the water smell like, taste like, feel like? You know, smell those wonderful body creams and washes that you're using. I like to put coconut oil on after my shower while I'm still in the shower. What does that feel like? And then when you're rubbing on your lotion or your coconut oil, really feel your skin and take extra moments and rub it in and feel and just really appreciate your body for being here for you and being the warrior that it is, and appreciate the things that you have. Uh, there is some psychology and some study that we can't be grateful and depressed at the same time. It's impossible for the brain to do that. So really practice that gratefulness and gratitude for your body, but slow down and touch it. Just take your time and rub your lotion on, rub your face, rub your body, feel those sensations, and see if it activates your day in a different way. So like I said, we've worked with survivors for many years, and the I'll send these out in a email to you. They're kind of small to read, but survivors really are saying, I feel like I was allowed to take up space again. Partners also really enjoy it and love to see the changes in their partner. My husband said he saw me smiling in a way he hadn't in years. I thought that pleasure was gone forever. It turns out it was just hiding behind the fear. Then, from our programs, the activities have helped me to explore myself fully. It has helped me let go of the scars and realize I have many from other times in my life, and they never got in the way before. The mind and what we say to ourselves is so important. For me, the sense of touch around my body has helped me the most. I now really enjoy touching my skin and allow myself to feel fully. It has helped me slow down, take in my surroundings, and allow these things to help me set the mood and the tone to explore my sensuality more. What I loved most about Tiffany was the way she talked about the topic that could be considered taboo. Instead, it felt informative, impactful, because she not only brought scientific information, but relatable demeanor that I could really connect with. This course has provided a guide way back to seeing myself through beauty. Feeling good and allowing myself to stop being a victim has allowed me to take back my marriage, or my body, and then Tiffany saved my marriage. We want you to be confident in your changing body and empowered in your desires and connected to yourself and your partner. In our case study, overall, there was a significant improvement for our sexy survivors that they observed in both body image and intimacy along the participants. Participants who initially scored below 5 on the body image scale of 1 to 10 saw significant improvements, with scores increasing from 3 to either 8 or 9. Even those who started with a relatively high score of 7 still showed improvement, reaching the final scale of 9. And this is really important because with 1 being a negative and 10 being positive, jumping that many points is really impressive in a short amount of time. And this was rating their current feelings towards their body and overall feelings of femininity. Across the board, our participants demonstrated notable enhancements of intimacy. Those with initial scores of 6 on the same scale increased to 10, when those that had started with a 3 or 4 increased to 7 and 9, respectively. The scale was judged from that 1 to 10, and the participants, this was their rating towards feeling towards sexual activities and intimacy with their partners. 100% of the participants improved communication with their partner regarding intimacy and body love. And those who had had difficult discussing these topics with their doctors and care team, 100% of them expressed that this coaching would have, and this program would have helped them prior to their treatment and during their treatment. And then 100% of our participants had increased sexual activity with their partners. 75% went from having 0 sexual activity, which was anything that was genital touch related, is how we gauge that. They went from having 0 activity to increasing activity to 1 to 2 times a month, and 25% increased from 1 to 2 times a month to up to 3 times a week. And they all increased in sexual satisfaction, even if pain was still present. So, how Sexy Survivors can help you feel: it can help you be confident in your changing body, empowered in your desires, connected to yourself, and staying connected to your partner as well. So I want to introduce you to Sexy Survivors and tell you a little bit about what it is. But before I get into all the details of it, I wanted to tell you about, how this one of our participants, Jen, really talked about how she'd always been a sexual being, and she wanted to be with her husband and get back to the way she always had been. And she was really struggling with the pain in her body and the way that she had 0 libido, 0 arousal, 0 interest in sex, but she really was desiring it, but her body just wasn't saying yes. And so she really overcame those challenges that she was feeling with our techniques in our program. And we do go pretty fast. It's 8 weeks. It's a live coaching program on video like this. And it's designed to work with survivors who are ready to embrace their bodies, rebuild confidence, and reignite that spark. In that 8 weeks, we go very fast. We go into that. It is pleasure-based biopsychosocial model, and we go over a lot of topics, and we're there to support you. So for 7 of those weeks, you have a live 1 hour about session like this, and then it's a small group. Then you'll have access to our private survivor community, lifetime tools for pleasure, confidence, and communication. And then what your final week, whether it can be at the beginning, at the end, wherever you'd like it in that 8 weeks, we do a private call with you to really focus on what you want to achieve in your life. So you have those weekly group video calls, access to our private community, a 30-minute one-on-one call, weekly activities that you do at home to strengthen your self-love, and those lifetime learning tools that we provide for you. And this program is for survivors who are at least 6 months post-treatment, who are ready to go from surviving to sensational. This is ready for survivors who want to commit to change and are willing to do the work. There is going to be about an hour of activities that you will do every week. So you need to put aside 2 hours out of your whole week to focus on yourself. And that can be the most difficult challenge, is to actually say yes to yourself and put yourself out, time aside for yourself, where you're blocking off that time for you. This isn't for everyone. And so if you are still physically healing and unwilling to be vulnerable or invest in yourself and take those 2 hours of self care, then this isn't going to be a program for you. We do have some special enrollment bonuses right now. Our next cohort starts October 1st. If you enroll in the next 48 hours, you're going to receive a private welcome call with me, which is an extra $250 value, a Sexy Survivors gift box that will be mailed to your door. It's over $200 in value. And then you're going to get early access for the next 4 weeks of our extra bonus content. I guess the slide didn't get changed. Sorry about that. It is October is when we're going to be starting. I've charged $2,000 for this in the past, but that's what our healthcare system partners pay. But because of our sponsors, and I want it to be accessible to you, it is only $495. And this isn't just a program, it's a movement. It's one that says that you deserve intimacy, joy, and a vibrant, full life. So I don't see any questions in the chat, but if you have any, you can. Sometimes I know you don't want to ask them in front of other people. You're welcome to send them to me privately. And you can text me at this number, 714-386-9684, or contact me at tiffany@sexysurvivors.org. And whether you join us today or not, I want you to walk away knowing this, that you're not broken, that you're beautiful, powerful, and worthy of pleasure. Sexy Survivors is just here to simply remind you that. Sex makes everything better. It connects us to our partners, to ourselves. And when your relationship with your partner or yourself is going well, then all those little everyday irritants kind of fade away. So you didn't take out the trash, there's socks on the floor, the laundry didn't get put away, all those things, when you're really connected intimately, all those things don't really matter. And you'll notice that in your life. I want to tell you about one of my first clients, Margie, and she had brain cancer. And due to some complications from her surgery, she had an ostomy bag. And she hadn't had sex in years or even been naked in front of her partner for over 2 years when we met. And after her first session, she called me and told me that she had sex again and it felt amazing. And I'm going to tell you what we did for Margie is it was just a little tweak. She just hadn't been naked in front of her partner. The ostomy bag wasn't pretty. She didn't like it. She felt embarrassed and shameful about it, but she wanted to be able to have sex. And be naked and be free. And we just took a beautiful scarf and draped it around her waist and made her kind of like a belly band that covered it. And there's lots of things like that that can be a solution. And then, that's when she felt comfortable enough to have sex again. If you've had breast, mastectomy or lumpectomy, any scarring, lot of women, I suggest wearing like an open robe. You can cover what you don't want to be seen at the moment, and you still have access. Your partner has access to all of your bits. But know that this isn't just for people with partners. It's about whether you're solo or partnered, you can increase the way that you feel about yourself and the beauty in your body. And that would be a beautiful thing for you. This isn't just a program, it's a movement. It's really part of saying that you, as a survivor, deserve intimacy, joy, and a full, vibrant life. So share this with your friends. Ask them to support survivors. We have a funding campaign going on, and scan right here. Um, we want to bring sexy survivors to survivors everywhere. And so if you're ready, we're ready to welcome you. And thank you so much for participating today and showing up. I'm here if you need us. And please, thank you. And we'd love to talk to your groups, whatever you have going on. We're here to help. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.